Hi guys, hope you're all doing well. So this is my 3-week update with my transcranial magnetic stimulation experience with smart TMS. I've now had 18 sessions and I have seen some improvements in some areas, but I'm still waiting for that shift in mood and obviously a full remission in depression. So while it hasn't done what I've been hoping for, I am grateful for the changes I have seen, and I'm just going to go through them in a little more detail. So, what have I noticed so far? I'm sleeping well at the moment, really well. My sleep is not interrupted at all. I'm sleeping right through the night, and I'm waking up naturally around 7:30 AM, feeling very well rested, and I'm just like alert straight away. I'm waking up immediately. I think probably for the first time in my life, I'm not snoozing. I used to snooze for hours sometimes, whereas now I'm just asleep and then I'm awake and I'm alert, and there's no grogginess at all. I'm just up in the shower, which is awesome. Let's be grateful for what we can, regardless of so that's great. And to build on that a little bit, I have a lot of energy at the moment. Physically, I feel very good. Like yesterday, I did a 15-kilometre row at the gym, and that's 13 kilometres more than I've ever rowed. I was on that row machine for an hour and 5 minutes, and I just kept going and going. And I could have done more by that point, but my arse had gone numb, and I could feel it all in my traps up here. And I thought, okay, you've got other physical activity coming up this weekend. Let's call it there. Nice round 15 kilometres. So yeah, and then this morning I did a park run, 5 kilometres. Up at 8 AM, at the park run 9 AM, and I'm still waiting for that physical tiredness, and it's not there yet. I feel good. Physically, I feel really good. And as I say, I've got 2 gym sessions tomorrow, which I'm looking forward to. And yeah, it's nice to feel so physically well, and even if I get nothing else out of the treatment, it was worth it just for that. And I obviously, touch wood, I hope that is a permanent change. Obviously, I've always been quite good in that regard, but I just feel like it's been cranked up a little bit recently. So I hope it stays around. As mentioned in previous videos, the world feels very real at the moment, and most of the time I feel very grounded in reality, save for some moments here and there. I still have really high levels of anxiety sometimes, which I have a theory about, and I will get to that in a minute. For example, walking to the gym yesterday, and while I was in the gym, for most of the time I was in the gym, my anxiety was very high. So not a huge change in like social anxiety, being around people, feeling self-conscious, like exposed. But generally, yeah, the world still feels very real. Like on my little walk to my latest session, TMS session, I was just struck by how real everything felt. So again, really grateful for that, and I hope that lasts too. I'm being productive, and I'm finding it easier to focus on one task for an extended period of time. Last weekend I managed to vacuum my car for the first time since I ever bought it in October 2019. I still felt miserable inside while I was doing this, but I'm still able to do these things, and I seem to be able to do them better. And yeah, I'm sticking to daily disciplines quite comfortably. No overeating chocolate in the evenings. I just measure out, decide on a portion, eat that, and then I stop. I have my freezing cold showers every morning. Even, a lot of the time I don't want to set that dial to 0, but I still find a way to do it, because I know the benefits it brings. I'm running 4 to 5 times a week. I do daily meditations, and I seem to just be able to stick to these disciplines better than normal. Even though, as I say, you know, I generally have been quite disciplined. I don't know if the term is like a functional depressive. Like I'm still able to get some things done despite how miserable I feel at times. I can't see that I would ever be somebody that just stayed in bed all day, because I just feel like that would make me feel even worse about myself. And that's no disrespect to people that do struggle with that. I know we all experience depression differently, and you know, I hope we can all find a way to get over it. So yeah, despite all of these improvements, let's face it, they are improvements, and I am grateful. I just feel flat. I feel empty inside. I feel regretful, devastated over some of my life, the things I've missed out on, and ashamed and guilty and disgusted with myself and worthless, I suppose. So this leads me on to my theory. So I have a theory, right? And let me just make a little disclaimer here that I am not a doctor. I've got no background in neurology or medicine or whatever. This is all just based off my own subjective experience, and it could be completely wrong. But for me, I feel like TMS has been working better with dopamine transmission and signalling or whatever. Because, you know, all the things that I'm seeing results in, they're like reward based, aren't they? They're all related to dopamine. Which also, I tried a dopamine antidepressant called Wellbutrin or bupropion, and I had similar results. I only tried it for a week or two, but also my anxiety went through the roof. And I feel like dopamine raising is linked to an increase in anxiety. Maybe TMS generally improves everything, but maybe for me it will only improve what's there in the first place. It's not going to put something in that's missing in the first place. And I've had a suspicion that I have had a deficiency in serotonin my entire life, or certainly from a very young age, and either the treatment isn't going to fix that, or it's going to take a long time to undo it. Maybe I'll see results in that towards the end of treatment. You know, I'm over halfway now, and I'm going to stick to it because the things that I have seen improvements in are obviously positive. And worst case scenario, those are the only results I get, but it was still worth doing. So, why do I think I have a deficiency in serotonin? Well, yeah, I have a lack of self-esteem and confidence, and serotonin is known as the confidence molecule, so I read. I imagine the worst from people, and I always think they're saying negative things about me behind my back. I've got that very high level of paranoia and low self-esteem. I feel impatient a lot of the time. Again, I read that serotonin is directly linked to patience. Just like I want to get to the end of whatever I'm doing and not go through the whole process. I just need that like instant result. Like I try like once a week I try and do squats, and my personal trainer has shown me this mobility routine to warm up for them properly, and I find it really hard to go through that process. I just want to squat. I just want to start squatting and get it done. But, you know, I'm really having to push myself to take 10 or 15 minutes to do that routine a few times and actually prepare for the exercise properly. Maybe everybody experiences that, but it's just a real underlying discomfort when I'm trying to do something and I just want it to be done. But on the flip side, you know, there has been instances in the last week or two where that has improved. I find it very hard to learn new things lately, and well, for years, and retain information and be able to recall it, and when necessary. Obviously, I struggle with social anxiety and OCD. Um, One thing that really upset, I know this sounds a bit shallow, but I haven't posted like on social media anywhere near as much as I actually have wanted to deep down over my life, because I've felt very self-conscious about putting myself out there, and like, I don't know, just I see myself in such a negative light for some reason, and it makes you feel really isolated and like you're missing out. I read something about how the people, social media in itself is not necessarily a bad thing if you're included, if you're engaging with other people, but if you're watching it as an outsider, if you're looking at it as an outsider and you're not actually interacting with the people whose posts you're looking at, then that can be very damaging to your mental health, and it can make you feel isolated, and that is something I have struggled with a lot. I'm trying harder with that lately. There are obviously some people that I do interact with, but I wish I could have done it properly, so to speak, and I wish maybe one day I still can. I think what it is I'm just I'm quite a soft person, and to really get ahead in life you have to be hard. Obviously you've got to be a nice person, but you have to have a thick skin and let things wash off you, and don't take things personally, and don't overthink. And these are all things that I am very good at doing the opposite of. So also, another thing that supports my serotonin hypothesis, what do you reckon of that? Is I have noticed improvements in all of these things within a few hours of taking an SSRI. Like overthinking, negative self-talk, shut off. I remember one of my personal trainer sessions back in March or so. On the way home, so this is when I thought I'll try an SSRI again, and I remember taking one of my most one of the early doses. Like I was only a few days in, and so I took it as I started walking home, and halfway home, I was just completely present, and there was nothing going on inside at all. I was purely in the moment, experiencing what I was experiencing, with no inner dialogue to accompany it. Whereas normally I'd be overthinking everything. Is that guy looking at me? When should I cross the road? Am I going to get hit by a car? Should I walk on the other side of the road? Did that interaction that I had with the cyclist, I don't know, my mind's normally like 100 miles an hour with generally bullshit and completely unnecessarily and pointless inner self-talk. So you're probably thinking, well, why did you stop the SSRI, or why didn't you try another one? I don't want to gain weight. I don't want to lose my libido. I don't want to lower my testosterone. Or I don't want to have all the other range of potential side effects that go along with it, which is why I stopped it early. Possibly worse off. Yeah, I don't want to be potentially worse off if I ever decide to stop the drug. I wanted to try something like this first. But to me, this is what you try first. And if you don't get any results, maybe one day you try an SSRI, if it's going to keep you alive, if it's going to stop you living completely miserably. But, I think you leave the chemical changes as a last resort, and you try whatever you can to fix your depression before that. But that's just my take. We're all different, and if you want to take an SSRI, good luck to you. I really hope it helps. Life's too short to be miserable, so we just do whatever we can to feel better. So yeah, I've got two more sessions as it's set up at the moment, and then I am having another review if I want to try something different. Maybe we'll look at suppressing down the right side instead of on the top of the head, or you know, whatever the other protocols are. So yeah, obviously I'll keep you updated on how that goes, and I'll be dropping back in next week to talk to you guys again. Got any questions? I'm sorry this video is so long. I really, one thing, it's quite ironic, one thing that really frustrates me about when I look at other people's experience of this kind of stuff is how much they ramble on and how much pointless information there is, and I just want to I want a nice little concise video of a recap, which is something I am going to do, which is why I don't mind giving myself a little bit of leeway for these videos. I imagine nobody's really got to this point in this one anyway. This is more for my own personal log to look back on at some point. But yeah, when I get to the end of treatment, I'm going to do a really nice, tidy, concise video, like less than 5 minutes long, just recapping the whole process. So feel free to skip these ones and maybe give that one a watch in a couple of weeks' time. Thanks guys, have a great weekend.